Communications Club TV.
Welcome everybody again to Sean's podcast, and today's guest is Reilly.
Hi there. How's things going? Happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
So Reilly, got a few questions for you. First question is, what got you into college?
That's a very good question. I wasn't very sure. I just figured college was something that you do right after high school and stuff. And picking a career-wise, I chose theater because I figured that theater was like a fun college thing to do.
So what really got you into theater?
What really got me into theater? I don't exactly remember the exact moment that got me into theater, like one specific moment, but I do know that the reason why I wanted to be in the theater specifically was because I wanted to feel that thrilling feeling on being on stage. Because if you think about it, being on a stage is kind of spooky, you know, where it's got like spotlights, the whole room is mostly dark except for the stage. I remember going to see Bye Bye Birdie at a high school play one time, and I couldn't stop smiling the whole time there, just seeing it.
So how long have you been in theater?
I've been in theater here at college for 3 to 4 or 5 years since 2021, after I graduated high school.
So little does the audience know that you belong to a program called the Theater Rats. Did you want to talk about something like that? How long have you been with the Theater Rats, by the way?
About 2 years or a year and a half. The last theater production I did with Theater Rats was for the SpongeBob musical. Played as Old Man Jenkins, and I killed that role. I can even do the old man voice. Listen, get off my lawn.
That was really good. Next question is, what made you join the Communications Club?
Well, I joined the Communications Club because I wanted to try something different besides being on stage. I wanted to try being in camera. I wanted to try being in a film. I wanted to see what I looked like on the big screen, either that or the small screen on YouTube and stuff, you know?
Question is, do you see the difference between theater and TV?
Well, I haven't exactly experienced being on camera in film yet. We haven't started production, so I don't exactly know the feeling about being behind camera for a film, but I do know that the feeling on being on stage feels thrilling.
Next question. Did you know that you're actually on YouTube right now for videos that when you interviewed Don Zach?
Oh, that's awesome.
Did you not know that?
I mean, I had a feeling that I was going to be on YouTube, but I didn't know that I was on YouTube at the moment.
You're on YouTube, so now you can go check out my channel. I'll send you the link. Another question is, what do you see yourself after you graduate with a theater degree, or associate's degree, I should say, but it's going to be in theater? Do you plan on going into another college that has a theater role where you're going to be like a main actor? Or do you just want to do both acting on the stage and acting behind and in front of the camera?
I hadn't really thought about it, to be honest. I was just mostly living in the moment. At the moment, I'm taking like an associate's degree for theater, and the college classes I'm taking at the moment are script writing and sociology. But I hadn't really thought about what I was going to do in the future. I was just sort of living in the present moment to figure out what I'm going to do for the future later. But after taking some script writing, I have to admit, or hearing some lessons from my professor, and he's taught me how to write scripts from my own personal experience, I'm starting to get the gist of being creative when it comes to script writing. The creative part is still extremely difficult. A lot of creativity in the back of your head to do so. Maybe I'll try something involved writing any kind of genre, maybe like a movie, a TV series, heck, or even write my own video game or something. Yeah, I would like to try being an actor for either Broadway or a movie and stuff.
So you live in the moment of the present instead of the future and also the past. Is that what you're just like saying?
Yeah, definitely. Probably a bit off more than I can chew on that answer.
Next question. You ready? It's a tough one. Really tough.
What's
ready
that?
You ready? Did you see the difference between theater and TV?
I would say that the difference between theater and TV is that, well, this is kind of obvious, just my answer personally. I know that theater, it all happens live, not recorded, so there can't little to no mistakes. A few mistakes would be good, just, you know. When it comes to filming, that's being recorded. By the way, when I say obvious, I don't mean like, oh, I know the answer, it's so obvious. I mean obvious as in like, what my answer is probably gonna be an obvious statement that people would say, well, yeah, you know, that's what theater and a play is and a movie is.
Why did you join the Communications Club? I probably asked you this already, but I want to hear from you again on that.
Well, I joined the Communications Club because I wanted to try something different than Broadway. I wanted to try being in a film. The fact that we're doing a 10-minute film soon really excites me, you know, because I've wanted to see what I would look behind the screen. if I may ask a question, if that's okay. If we're going to the film festival, is our film going to be presented on like a big screen?
That's actually a good question. I don't even know. But I do know that I want to enter us, but our writer for the communications club, he's slack, and we already have a deadline. We needed to shoot this and edit this and have a final project before March 8th. And March 8th is coming up within 2 weeks. I don't know what he's thinking. I'm trying to get him to write faster or maybe give me the script or whatever. But right now, we need that because we needed to start shooting as of 2 weeks ago. So I could actually edit, film it, find some music artists that can present it because that we actually need right now for this. And you guys want to help out or anything like that, but you have to be a college student. You don't have to be a college student here at Bristol. You can also be a college student at another college because it is only college students are invited to this film festival. So I'm glad that you asked that question so we can actually talk about what do you actually see? You actually excited to go to this film festival that if I can get the grant?
Yeah, definitely. I'm very excited.
Berkshire, Massachusetts is?
No.
Neither do I, but I'm gonna be looking that up, see if we can do a day trip, see what I can do with everything, and hopefully our advisor approves it because I heard it's gonna be a 3-day weekend. That's gonna be really exciting.
So we're going to be there for the entire 3 days and stuff?
Correct. No dates are given yet for that 3-day weekend, so don't worry about that. Don't stress it. But they are gonna be picking the finalist on March 28th. So our deadline is March 8th. They don't pick the writers until March 28th. I guess they got like a whole bunch of colleges that they're going to be looking at. So we need to be number one on this, or at least in the top 25. I don't know what their numbers are, but we definitely need to be in those numbers.
Okay.
What are you looking for out of this trip going into the film festival?
I hadn't really thought about it. Just thought I'd step in and see what's ahead of me and stuff. A lot of my decisions are based on just do it and see what happens.
Did you know the difference between theater and TV is you can do many jokes that you possibly can, and that can all be edited out. But on stage, once you crack a joke or when you're doing a live performance, there's no getting that back. You already sold yourself to the audience, where you haven't sold yourself to the audience because during a movie or a film script or a TV script, you still haven't sold yourself because that can be edited out and you can always start over. There's more takes than one, but in theater, there's only that one shot, one show, and that's it. That's I wasn't sure if you knew that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to go for with that previous answer. When it comes to live theater on stage, it's one take, but when it comes to recorded film, it's more than one take. I was trying to say that in, well, what you could call is the most simple way possible and stuff. Again, bit off more than I could chew on that answer. Yeah, I actually did some improv on a stage once for the SpongeBob musical. In case anyone who's watching this has seen the performance, it happened here at BCC. There's a scene where Old Man Jenkins protests against Sandy the Squirrel. So Old Man Jenkins and his crew walk from right stage to the left side of the stage, and SpongeBob walks up to Old Man Jenkins, tells him to stop. So what I did for improv was I pointed my pitchfork at the actress who played SpongeBob, and she sort of yelled "Eep," and ran away. And that wasn't even part of the choreography. I just improv'd on that one, and it paid off.
Sometimes paying off works for the theater too, just because you don't have to go by the script. But there's one other question I do have. So this theater, the Theaterettes, with Don Lambert, you want to talk about what your next project is with him?
Well, at the moment, at this moment, we're working on a musical called The Newsies. I played as Bunsen before, but they gave me a different role. Seats. I think that's his name. Hopefully I'm getting it right. It's Seitz. And he's one of Pulitzer's men. And besides that, I'm also working on a side project with Don involving 8 members of Theaterettes called Lifeboat. It's an improv. It's a written out show from another member at Theaterettes. And the show is the length of 30 minutes long, and it's basically 8 people are trapped on a lifeboat telling each of their life stories.
Sounds really short. Wait, about 30 minutes of a show.
It's a masterpiece. It's a good show though. You'd like it.
I saw you perform yesterday. What show was that for?
You saw me acting yesterday?
Yeah. What was that show called?
Oh, Newsies. Newsies. That was what you saw. We were at the scene where the Newsies were joining forces, the Seize the Day part.
You want to talk about what other parts you might be playing here at campus, or are you actually part of the theater program this semester?
Here at college? Well, yeah, I'm part of their classes. Right now I'm taking script writing, sociology. Theater-wise, any side theater productions? No. This year I haven't been joining any because I have like a lot on my plate. I've got communications club, the college classes when it comes to sociology and script writing, which believe me is really hard. It's memorizing the musical Newsies from theaterettes.
One last question. How was Scotland? You did a piece here from Bristol Community College, and you were one of the lucky members to actually take a trip out to Scotland. How was that trip? Like, is there anything you can actually tell the audience, your experience over there?
Oh man, it was incredible. Like, the scenery in Scotland, unlike here in Fall River, the whole place is like green. Like, there's literally more patches of grass than there is street. You could tell it's England because all the little villager houses and everything. And there's like thousands of people at the Fringe Festival. It could like fill up the streets of New York. But yeah, one of the best experiences of my life.
So let me ask you a question. Did you actually need a passport going to another country? How did that actually happen?
Yeah, you definitely needed a passport to go to another country.
And who paid for the passport, you or the school?
I did.
What did the school pay for?
Honestly, I can't exactly remember all the details of who paid for who and stuff. It was a while ago, about a year ago, and I was just mostly focused on the trip, getting ready, than I was about the details of paying. So honestly, I can vaguely remember it.
So what do you remember from being in Scotland?
I remember passing out flyers, and I nailed it passing out the flyers. I was like acting like an old 1930s salesman, like, flyers for sale, get your flyers for sale, everybody. How about you, sir? You want a flyer? No? Okay, next time.
When you do a character, how long does it take you to stay in that character? And does the character ever leave you when you get a new character, when you act? You always change to another character, or you just try to stay yourself?
When we're on cue, when it comes to theater, I stay in character, but when they say cut, I cut back out of character and I revert back to being myself.
So when do you actually go into character? Like, when you're doing like flyers and stuff, do you go back into character at that time, or you just become yourself and just choose something that Reilly has never done before?
Wait, are we talking about like theater on stage or when I was passing out the flyers?
It doesn't matter. Just when you're doing stuff like passing out the flyers, was you in character at that time, or you just did something that was actually out of the ordinary? And
yeah, that was out of the ordinary. I was being myself. I just meant comparing a 1930s salesman, like passing out stuff. Like, I was comparing his enthusiasm, his joy to like mine when I was passing out the flyers. And David, who was hosting for the trip to Scotland, was really impressed by what I did.
Okay, let's talk about your characters. I don't think anybody knew about your character. Not even I did. Of your character of being into the film, the one that the Communications Club is shooting. Do you know anything about your character yet?
Anything of my character?
Yeah, do you know who you're playing? Do you know what your character is based on?
Honestly, not much. I do know that I'm one of the henchmen of the bad guy, but that's all I know.
Okay. I'm going to tell you what your character is going to be. I'm actually excited because I never got to tell you, so I figured I was going to tell you in this type of spot. Your character is going to be one of the mob bosses.
Nice.
Do you know which mob boss? Do you know who Lucky Luciano is?
Who's Lucky Luciano?
He used to be a real live Italian mobster out of New York.
Oh.
You almost look exactly like him.
I do?
Yeah. I'll pull up photos later on, and I'm also going to put those photos, a photo of Lucky Luciano, and I'm going to compare it like a little bit, because you almost look a little bit like him.
I think someone once compared me to looking like Jerry Seinfeld or Jimmy Kimmel, but I can vaguely remember who or what the character was. That's just what I remember from the back of my head. Either Jerry Seinfeld or Jimmy Kimmel.
No. You look a little bit like Lucky Luciano. Do you know how he got his name?
How did he get his name?
He was supposed to be taking for a ride, which that means you were going to get killed. And his someone on one of the mobsters tried to take an attempt on his life. And he got a scar on his face because he was cut with a knife. And so that's how he got his name, was called Lucky Luciano.
Oh, that's cool.
So your character is going to be based on Lucky Luciano.
Nice. So am I going to have like a scar on my face?
I don't know if we can actually prop that into makeup, but we can definitely turn that scar into something. We'll make something happen in that aspect. So you're kind of excited about playing a real live mobster?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm always eager for villain roles.
Is this your first time playing a villain role, or you played a villain role before?
I'd have to say I played sort of villains before. No, actually I have played villains before. In order to fundraise money for Scotland, we did an improv show of Dungeons and Dragons, and I was one of the goblins. And I was playing as a goblin for travelers to enter room by room, offering them potions and stuff. In that show, one of the other goblins had a heart attack, so whoever missed out, I mean, that has a joke-wise and stuff. They didn't have a literal heart attack. That was like part of the routine. I'd say Seats is also like side villain of Pulitzer from Newsies. And I played as more of, not a violent villain, but more like a used car salesman villain kind of guy from a devised show at BCC College called The Travelers, and I was just borrowing money from people with the most bizarre excuses possible.
What do you rather play, a good guy or a bad guy?
Depends on what fits for me, either the good guy or the bad guy. If there's a good guy that I think would fit my character, or that I really like, I would like to play as the good guy. But if there's like a bad guy role that I'm eager to play as, a witty kind of villain. I was trying to rehearse a show for SpongeBob musical for Plankton because of my deep voice, and I've always wanted to try being a villain. I didn't get the role for Plankton, but I did get the role of Old Man Jenkins, which in my opinion is the next best thing.
That's all the time we have for today. Is there anything else that you want to add or talk about that I haven't covered?
No, I think I'm good for now. Thank you.
All right. This is Sean with Reilly signing off.
Thanks for having me.
And I will see you guys on my next show called Sean's Podcast Show.